What's up, gang? My name's Nita, and oh my god, I can't do anything. Today I'm going to be reviewing Beauty and a Hairy Prince, because that's essentially the movie that I came in and saw yesterday. It's the movie everyone's reviewing, everyone their mother's talking about, and I'm just going to be drawing random junk while I talk, so just listen. Right off the bat, I'm going to talk about the controversy regarding this movie and LeFou. And I just want to say, if you're worried about taking your kids to see this movie because they can't handle queerness or whatever, like, a lot of the movie does allude to like queer themes and drag and all that, but if you're worried because of the rumored gay moment, literally it's blink and you miss it, 2 seconds of, I don't even know why they call it a spoiler. It is, everyone knows this story. It's been out for like 20 years. It is two men dancing. If your child can't take to see two men dancing, like, don't even take them to football games. They do gayer things at football games. Like, honestly, it's so ridiculous, and I really think it was a publicity stunt by Disney. Like, it makes a lot of sense, because they're not going to lose money by a theater in Alabama not playing this movie. They're not going to lose a ton of cash from that. And like, a lot of people are going to want to see the movie. Like, now it's making a bunch of hullabaloo more than it normally would, because they're like, oh, it's gay Disney for the first time. And it's just, it's not. They didn't deliver. Like, I wasn't asking for like a big gay kiss or anything. Like, definitely not. Because, like, I don't know, it just wasn't necessary. But, like, this wasn't necessary. Like, they could have just, like, exclusive gay moment. I really don't want to hear that ever again, because that's just, like, the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, they could have, like, had this moment in the movie and just not talked about it, and I think everyone would have been cool. But that's not what happened, and then everyone freaked the fuck out. Sorry, I didn't want to curse. I really didn't. I'll try to censor that. I don't know how. I don't have any. Anyway, but and yeah, like movies like Paranorman, they had a way gayer moment where a character explicitly said, "Hey, my boyfriend," and the only people who knew about it were people who watched Paranorman, right? This, it's like, one of the main reasons I went to see Beauty and the Beast is because I'm like, oh, what's this gay moment they're talking about, right? And I feel kind of robbed. Like, not robbed, like, it's just like, I don't know, it felt like, definitely, like, yeah, contrived, and like, oh yeah, yeah. But, so that aside, I made a list of pros and cons for the movie. I'm gonna first talk about the pros, because there's not a lot, but they're worth mentioning. And, like, spoilers, like, God. By the end of this, I'm gonna deem whether or not this movie was necessary or not. You can kind of tell already what my thoughts on that are, just from my tone of voice and all that, but we'll just give it a go. So, oh my god. So at the beginning, like, the very beginning of the movie, that shows the prince as a human, right? The mean prince. And he's, like, done in this makeup. I'm trying to recreate it as best to my knowledge, but, like, I don't even know what it was, but I loved it. I was living, and, like, I was in the theater with my sister, and she was like, Anita, shut up. Like, she was so embarrassed because I was, like, snapping my finger. I'm like, yeah, God. Like, obviously, I was being a little, like, it was for fun, but, like, I wasn't being that obnoxious, but she was just, like, over it. But, yeah, he just had this makeup, and, like, it was so cool. And then when the enchantress comes, and she's, like, the old lady, ugly lady, when he dismisses her, he just makes this, like, he makes, like, a verbal, and it was the funniest thing, like, I had seen. It was so great. Another is the whole gold motif of the castle that you see throughout the movie, like with Mrs. Potts and like everyone, just, it's just like all gold and it's pretty, and I like that. So, another good thing about the movie was LeFou. Again, I played LeFou, and I played a man, even though I'm like really feminine, but like, I just played a man, and it was fun, and I have lots of like personal connections with that character, and he was great. Josh Gad, like, I barely remember Olaf because I haven't seen Frozen in forever. And to me, it wasn't Olaf. It was LeFou, and like he has this one line. It's like, "It's never gonna happen, ladies," about Gaston. I'm like, yeah, go for it. But yes, that was pretty fun. Another is again LeFou. When he's singing the Gaston song, he makes this whole line. He's like trying to spell the name Gaston because they added some lines to that song, and he's like G-A-S-T. I believe there's another T. I just realized I'm illiterate and I've never had to spell this out before, and I'm like, relatable. I love that. So yeah, that was fun. Another was, I mean, they tried to fix some things because like the cartoon isn't infallible. There's some problems I have with the cartoon, but I loved it still. It's so good. But one of the things was in Be Our Guest in the original, he says 10 years we've been rusting, and then they're like, wait, wouldn't that make the prince like 11 or 10 when she first came? Like, why are you punishing a 10-year-old lady? So they changed the lyric to many years we've been rusting. I'm like, okay, thank you. Why couldn't they have done that in the Broadway version? I don't know. But so yeah, that was kind of like saving your skins, kind of like how they did in Rogue One with the whole like how they were able to shoot the Death Star. They like, oh, well, I made it that way. So that was kind of fun. And then, oh my god, can we just talk about the Beast? The Beast was pretty hot, which made me upset because I'm like, no, it's a monster. I'm not supposed to like it. I was mad. But the voice was kind of like, I like listening to the voice, but oh my goodness. Like they're talking about books, and in this one they kind of changed the Beast character so that he reads and stuff, and like it's different. It's a different Beast. So that's why I said it was the Hairy Prince, because he's not the Beast. He's a Hairy Prince. That's all he is. But they're like, sorry, gotta fix something. But they're like, oh, what's your favorite Shakespeare? And Belle says Romeo and Juliet, and the Beast rolls his eyes. I was like, me? Oh my god. It was, oh my god. I love that part so much. And then, I love drawing tutus. Okay, just say, they're so fun. Alright, so, and then also, they were, like, having a snowball fight, and Beast just decks her with this huge, like, globe of a snowball, and she just, like, she's, like, KO'd. It was great. It was awesome. And, so that was nice seeing her getting hit in the face. It was kind of fun. And then, so the dress, I didn't like the yellow dress at first, but while it was moving, I have to hand it to you, like, while the dress was, like, flowing and she was dancing, it looked very beautiful. I liked, there was, like, layers upon layers. It was, like, layers underneath the layers. It was, like, Shrekception. And, near the end, like, I don't know, LeFou finds, like, they're all storming the castle, and LeFou finds Mrs. Potts, and he's like, at first he finds Chip, and he's like, oh, you must be the little teacup Maurice was talking about, and you must be his grandma. And Mrs. Potts, that's her, like, tipping point. She's like, oh, grandma! And then that's when they decide to, like, kill everyone, in a gruesome manner. And then, oh my god, when they all turn back into human, so they changed the, in the Broadway show, Lumiere's girlfriend is named Babette. I am, like, 100% certain that in the movie, her name is Fifi. Like, that's what I remember as a kid. And, so in this, they change it to Plumette. But when Plumette turns back into a human, she is gorgeous. Her makeup is done. And her highlight, my sister and I just, like, turned to each other and we're like, oh, that highlight, though. Oh, it was so good. It was, like, magnificent. So now on to the cons. And this... Oh my god, I'm going on, this is gonna be a long video. All the videos are. The cadence of the narration, like right at the beginning, it just had a weird off cadence, like she said some things too fast. I'm like, like pace yourself, honey. And then the Enchantress she doesn't knock on the door, she just busts in. I'm like, if I were a prince, I'd be mad. Like, you're not invited. Like, get out of here. And then, Belle's dress at the beginning. Like, what the... Okay, I'm gonna draw it kind of right here on... Okay, this is Emma Watson. She has different eyebrows. Emma Watson eyebrows. So she has her dress, and then it's, like, tucked in. and she's showing her little like pantaloons at the bottom. It's tucked in at first, like, you know, in a stage production, if there's like a costume mishap, like that's kind of okay, well, we can't do much more about it because she's already out there singing. This, at first I thought that's what happened. I'm like, did nobody notice? Like, people had to have noticed that there was like a mishap with the costume, but I think it was just because they wanted Belle to be different, and so her dress is tucked into her underpants. Again, oh, it ground my gears, because I'm like, I see what you're trying to do, and it did not work. It just looks ugly, and it looks lazy, and ugh. And I want to Miss Emma Watson as Belle. Belle is a singer. When you cast Belle in like musical, like theater productions, you will cast a singer because, believe it or not, Belle sings, and you need a good singer. Emma Watson, for all that you're worth, you are not a singer. Like, at least get vocal lessons or something. It was so heavily auto-tuned. Like, honestly, if you can prove, I like there's a song by Fun, Nate Roos, he sings, and it is so auto-tuned, but you can tell it's auto-tuned, and it's, he's already proved himself to be a good singer, so I don't care. Emma Watson, I don't know how she sings, and it's auto-tuned, and like, this whole time, Emma Watson's just playing herself. I could not say, oh, that's Belle. To me, it was just Emma Watson, and I didn't care for it. It wasn't for me. Like, if you loved her as Belle, then like, good for you. For me, it was just not working. Yeah, just hire a singer. If you're gonna have someone sing a song, hire a singer. That's why it got me upset when they played Home. Like, they added new songs. I'm like, at first when they said they're gonna add new songs, I'm like, oh, are they just gonna put in songs from the Broadway like version? No, they just added their own new songs that I'm not gonna go into detail, but they added all these new backstories, and I could have done without them. They were unneeded, and so just hire a singer if you're gonna have someone in a sing part. So they added the song Home, like just the instrumentals when she sees her room, but they didn't have her sing it. And I think it's just because Emma Watson can sing it. It was a different octave range, and like just Belle. Anyway, so yeah, Maurice, everyone, like other reviews, because I've seen all the other reviews that everyone their mother is doing. Everyone loves Maurice. I wasn't feeling him. I kind of liked the goofy old man. I understand that they made Belle the like inventor. That was kind of cool, but like then Maurice has no motivation to go into the like village. Like, bring me back a rose. Just grow a rose bush already. And like, if you haven't seen the movie, this makes no sense. But like, I just like, I liked the old Maurice better, like a lot better. This one, he tried to be quirky at some parts, but because he wasn't really established as like a goofball, like they kind of didn't fit. And I'm like, what you doing, buddy? Like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. Oh, and like the scene where he like enters the castle, it drags on so much with unnecessary dialogue. Like in other versions, he just like enters the castle after being chased by wolves. This, he's like, oh, okay, Philippe, stay there. Oh, I gotta get this. Oh, I gotta open the door. Oh, someone here. Like, he just adds so much more dialogue that it's just like him like speak thinking, and it's like, rah. And I didn't care for it. And then he just barges in, and then like he goes and he sits down in the fire. Like, he's not invited. Like, he's not introduced to all the enchanted objects, really. He just like kind of barges in and just kind of takes food, and like that's rude, man. Learn some manners. Like, I get you're like from the cold, like, but like, he didn't even get confirmation that he was allowed to be there. And like, if there's food, obviously there's something. He was like, oh, thank you to whoever's doing this, but nobody was doing it. He just kind of took it. So yeah, a lot of lines that were meant to be dramatic, just all throughout the movie, they weren't. They just had bad delivery. The wardrobe character, she was a great singer, but she was always sleeping for some reason. Like, that was her character. I'm like, why? Why is she kept falling asleep? I'm like, what's that all about? So LeFou was kind of like really gay throughout the whole thing. But in the song Gaston, he was like, in a wrestling match, nobody bites like Gaston. And he lifts up his shirt to show a bite mark on his stomach. Like, that's not, like, some people are like, oh my god, it's like homosexual activity. No, it's probably not, but it's still awkward, and I kind of didn't want to see that. It's not like I didn't want to see his stomach, like, by all means, man, show your stomach, but just like the bite mark, it was just oddly placed and oddly timed. I'm like, man, why? And then at the end of the Gaston song and Maurice busts in, everyone's just busting everywhere. Busting. Makes me feel good. Instead of like throwing him out and having the Gaston reprise, which I was getting ready for, I'm like, yeah, sing that Gaston reprise. They just follow Maurice like Gaston and LeFou. I'm like, what you doing, buddy? What you doing that for? It was weird. Okay, sorry, I'm collecting my thoughts. So why do they follow Maurice? So the big Be Our Guest scene. Oh, I love that song. That's supposed to be like the showstopper, yeah? Most of the song for me was me waiting for it to get to that show-stopping like moment. I'm like, okay, when's Be Our Guest gonna like be our guest? Yeah, like it got to that point, but like only at the very end. Yeah, most of the song I'm like waiting for it to like, okay, yeah, when's it gonna happen? That's a very ugly cup. And then after Be Our Guest, Belle, instead of like them like saying, oh, this is the West Wing, oh, but you can't go in there, and she like kind of like tricks them and goes in there anyway, she just kind of stumbles upon it, I think. I don't know, I was zoning out that part of the film. And then she goes in there and like it just drags on for way too long. That's why I was zoning out, because just her finding the West Wing, it dragged on for way too long. And yeah, there's other beef I have with it, but and then I remembered when I was a kid and like any of the wolf chase scenes, I would have to like fast forward them on DVD because like they were too scary. And there was a little kid sitting next to me, and she was like she's about like if this is me, right? Like this is how big the kid is. I can't gauge their age, but that's, yeah. And I'm like, oh, and she was like scared. I'm like, oh no, like these wolves are scary. And it was just, but that's, I mean, this part of the story, so I can't really like have beef with that. But yeah, oh my God. So like the Beast, turns out he has daddy issues, and I can't, it's just like, it was unnecessary. I didn't need it. Like any of the backstory about Belle's mom, like, and Beast, I don't care. That wasn't necessary. This is an over 2-hour movie for children mostly. And like, you don't need that. You don't. And so when Beauty and the Beast is a cartoon and like everyone makes the bestiality jokes, I mean, it's a cartoon though. They're both 2D creatures. When it's live action and this human girl is falling in love with a beast, you kind of are sitting there like, oh my God, are they gonna bone? Like, ew. It's uncomfortable. You don't need it. I don't know. But like, yeah, it didn't make me comfortable. So then Belle had a yellow dress. It's like her like this is Belle's dress. Like that's what all the dolls have and all that. And in the original, like, gosh, I love that dress. It's like, I loved drawing as a kid the little, like, those things. Like, oh, it's so fun. Yeah, I can't draw. In this one, when I first saw the dress, I'm like, oh, that is hideous. Like I said, it looked better when she's moving, but still, like, it just felt so out of place. It felt really modern, and the corset or whatever, I'm not a seamstress, but the top half, like this part, it was just like this ugly triangle. I'm like, are you gonna break out into a bikini? No, I didn't like it. That's just my personal beef. And that's where I stopped on my list, but I definitely had a lot of other things that just like got me bothered. Just, oh, like Gaston was shooting with a gun, like at Beast, and it kind of, I don't know, it just like, why is a dagger like too pussy for you? I don't know. But so in conclusion, was this movie, so these are just my nitpicks. Overall, it was like a pretty alright movie. Like, I don't know, I don't know what I was gonna expect coming into it, but I really think, like, again, with the controversy, that it was a publicity stunt, that it's not worth your time if you want to see it for, like, wow, Disney's groundbreaking gay. No, that's not what it was at all. I think we kind of deserve better, but if we deserve this movie at all, I mean, we don't need this movie. This movie was not necessary to have, like, because we already have a great live action version of the movie, and that is the Broadway version, and you could see it in your town if, like, a high school puts it on, or a middle school, or something, like, or just like a local theater troupe, like, and they are great shows, and they have, like, great moments with the characters, and you don't need the added daddy issues. You don't need like, Maurice stays true to his character. Like, it really felt kind of like Emma Watson's self-insert movie. Like, I didn't care for her. I didn't feel like she was Belle. I felt like she was Emma Watson the whole time. And, like, the best part for the movie for me was LeFou and his, like, one-liners. And, like, the visuals are nice, and I like some of the costumes and stuff. Like there's lots of good elements to the movie, but overall, it was not needed, kind of not wanted, and, like, yeah. So just a couple more things I have with the movie before I wrap up. The Beast character was, like, completely changed. Like, he's a hairy prince. He's not a beast. He's just kind of a jerk, but then, like, he has, like, a reason to be or something. Like, I don't know. It just, I mean, it's not the Beast. He's not, like, a monster. He's not that bad a guy. And then, same with LeFou's character. I felt in this he was very Wiggins from Pocahontas. Like, you know, the guy who's like, I like you, to Governor Ratcliffe. Oh gosh, that's, like, morphing into another drawing there. But yeah, because, like, it felt like he was, like, starting to, like, doubt Gaston and stuff kind of early, and it was, like, I don't know. He kind of changed his whole character. And one thing I, like, because I kept, like, watching the whole movie, like, when's the gay moment gonna happen? And I thought it was, so, like, when the whole castle's, like, fighting all the villagers, and LeFou gets, like, stuck under a piano, and then he's like, Gaston, help me! And Gaston's like, no. But I thought the gay moment was that LeFou was gonna, like, express his love for Gaston, and then he would die. And, like, that's the gayest thing you could put in a movie, because, like, gay people dying is just so, like, it's a staple in cinema now, you know? Like, killing off your gay characters, you have to do that. I'm being sarcastic if that wasn't evident. And then last, so when I made the joke, like, I was like, oh, Beast is hot. That was a joke. I hope nobody took that seriously, because no. But, so, like, Lumiere, he kind of has a humanoid, like, he's a candelabra, but he looks humanoid. Like, he has, like, human stuff. Plumette is no, that's just his poop. Plumette is just, like, it's a bird. And he's, like, all, like, romancing a bird. And, like, I don't know. Like, I mean, in the Disney live-action version, the cartoon version, when she turns into a human, her proportions, they bug me. They bug me so much. Like she has, like, so that, it's kind of like the proportion, but, like, it's like, here's her head, and bam, and then she has these huge-ass boobs, and then, like, that's her proportion, and she's like, oh, I'm a maid, woohoo. And, like, yeah, so, I mean, the, like, human version of Plumette in here, she was gorgeous and, like, lovely, and I think she was having a fun time. But yeah, so, like, both movies, like the cartoon and the live action, they're not perfect movies. They're good movies, both of them, but I still feel that the live action was unnecessary, and that the cartoon could very well have stood the test of time on its own. So yeah, thanks for watching and listening. This is kind of like a podcast, but with crappy drawings. Bye.